berserkers were coming in on raids. They had an impact before they even started to do their damage, just by their pure visual appearance. These people are foaming at the mouth, they're wide-eyed, they look completely crazy, and they're kind of in a trance. Once you see the appearance of someone like this, you realize that you're in for some deep shit. You know, we don't really care about the violence or the stuff like that. That's not what we're interested in. We're interested in these warriors and their drink. It was a beverage created by the medicine men of fermented grains and berries and herbs and mushrooms. And so the beer is what's important to us. It's the brewing heritage of these people. They had their own beer, their own culture. And what we decided to do was to create a beverage that had the fermented grains, but it also had this extra ingredient in it. A lot of breweries do collaborations with another brewery. What interests me, though, is doing a collaboration with someone who's not in the brewing industry at all. Well, coffee brewing industry.
Great coffee doesn't just happen. It's not just an accident. It starts with us looking for very unique and/or heirloom varieties of coffee. Driving through a valley and seeing maybe a dark green spot up on a mountain of coffee. You know, that's where I'm going. That's where I'm headed up there, you know. People are finding that coffee can just be as complex as the finest ale or the finest wines out there.
I think a lot of people, when they think coffee beer, the first thing they would think is like a stout or a porter. We decided to take a different approach. We were going to make a lager beer. We decided to do a Bock, actually, because Bock is totally underrepresented. They've been drinking it in northern Germany and Scandinavia for a long time. And we were thinking, okay, because it's going to be a cold fermented beer, let's use cold brewed coffee and integrate it into a cold brewed beer.
The flavor, the character, there's less, if not no acidity. Yeah, cold brew is definitely the way to go, at least in my mind, with brewing a coffee beer.
Cold press was the essence of what we had to do, but it was really hard to get that into the system. The only way we could figure out how to do that was as brewers. So that's when the mechanical came in. Now the mechanical is sort of this homemade mini conical fermenter named after Ian McConnell. He resurrected this piece of equipment, so he dubbed it the mechanical.
Okay, there. There's Pendleton Wool.
Guatemala Pical and Hairto from Huehuetenango, very close to the Mexican border. Undisputedly one of the best coffees in the world. No milk, no sugar, no cream. This is the guy right here. This is the guy.
Well, we know where it comes from. Let's find out where it's going.
You want to start brewing?
So it gave us the opportunity to mash beer with Dwayne, mash the actual Berserker Bock beer. And then we also got to mash the actual coffee beans. We actually did it in the exact same process that you would with beer.
That aroma is intoxicating.
We're not trying to get fermentable sugar out of the coffee, but we did need to make a mash. The only difference is, rather than letting the mash sit for an hour, we had to let the mash sit for about 8 to 12 hours. So the two cold press elements gave it a full court press, so to speak. And then from there, we were able to rack that cold press extract into our kegs. Then we were able to integrate them directly into the beer afterwards. And Berserker Bock was on. We're jaded, so we think we need more coffee, but we want to take this up to 11. There's kind of a long history of debate and tension right now about putting caffeine into alcoholic beverages. The Berserker Bock integrates the caffeine through natural coffee beans, and because it's being integrated naturally, it's totally legitimate. We take responsibility with this beer. It's up to us to deliver it in a way that's calibrated so that the dosage and the potency is perfect. The ancient Berserker beer, it had a certain effect, and those effects were relevant for that period of time. Zoom forward now, what are you going to grab from your surroundings? Who are you going to collaborate with? Are you going to collaborate with the local medicine man? Are you going to collaborate with the local coffee roaster? The energy and the spirit can be the same, but the effects and the recipe and the technique can be reinterpreted in a modern setting. Beer is always going to be here. If it was here 1,000 years ago, it's going to be here 1,000 years from now. And who knows what they'll put into their beer then. But it's still going to be the Berserker beer.